The advent of a coalition government in the UK has led some people to say, what about coalition organisations? Everyone working together for the common good. Are they possible? Are they desirable? Joining me in the studio is Berney. Now, Catherine, can you answer that? Are they a good idea?
I think they're a good idea. I think they're not only possible and desirable, they're becoming inevitable. I think there's this fever sweeping the nation about coalition organisations, following on really from the lib-con government coalition. But you get Sky B and Virgin Media, people who would historically have been complete rivals coming together with common ground and partnership deals. You know, people that would have been described as the Capulet and the Montagues, really, of the broadcasting industry. So it's fascinating to me that they are becoming so important in the country, and I think yes, they're very possible. I think they're very desirable for a number of reasons, but least of all because, you know, investing energy in competing with your competitors and your rivals. I think organisations are having to look to be more strategic about their futures. They're having to look at the economic downturn and other threats to their businesses, and they're looking to have partnerships with what would previously have been competitors and possibly rivals even.
Now I can see some people saying, now looking at the real world, it really isn't possible for people to live in harmony together.
Well, of course, it's, you know, the reasons, it's so important that people begin to live in harmony together because we live in a very complex and competitive environment, and the individual organisation doesn't have the ability to compete in that environment. So the partnerships are arising because of the need to have a broader range of skills and to actually deliver a broader range, a better product, and to have the kind of economies of scale that are needed in order to be able to do that. And that's why I say possible, desirable, inevitable, actually, inevitable. Really.
So what does it take to make a successful coalition? If I'm a manager, either at a senior level or a more junior level, what does it take? What
does it take to make a successful coalition? Well, first of all, there has to be common ground and enough complementarity in terms of the partnership to make it worthwhile. Because there has to be a very good business case for coming together, because there's a huge amount of work that will be required on everyone's part in order for us to succeed. So that's the first thing. A good marriage. I think the second thing is that people really spend the time working on a vision as to what it is that they could hope to achieve, that's achievable, that is really clear, that is inspiring, that people can see the benefits of coming together, that they don't sit in their silo organisations and stay with being Virgin Media or be a Sky person, that they actually can see the benefits of coming together. And that's the type of thing that at a senior level you need to work with in the early stages to have it happen. But there's a lot more required. It's not a typical change management programme where, of course, you've got to cascade the vision and it's got to be inspiring and clear. But there's much more to a coalition than that, because what's really going to distinguish the winners from the losers, from my experience of working with them over the number of years, is the ones that really integrate and embrace the actual coalition of differences, that they have become transformed by the actual diversity. And that's the thing, that is the complexity.
So let's have a look at the nitty-gritty of this then. What are the competencies required and how do you go about delivering those?
Well, at a very senior level, if you were asking me how I go about doing this, you'd need strong leadership, obviously, but I've mentioned that in terms of the reasons for coming together and in terms of the vision and the building and the selling, etc. You'd need the generic communication skills throughout, but there's an extra level that's required here, and that's where at every level, both at a senior level and at the grassroots level, that the individual person in their day-to-day, whether it is in that constituency where they were a Conservative person and they absolutely don't want to work with the Lib Dems, or whether you're a Sky B or whatever, but that person actually is equipped and helped to get the best out of the marriage. That's really the distinction. A facilitation skill.
So equipping with what?
Well, it would be equipping individuals at every level with the ability to go in and out of meetings, be they across groups, across teams, across organisations, with the skill to not only get on with a day job, but also to work with and embrace the differences in the room, to actually work with the positive qualities that come from the diversity that has been afforded to them. Because the diversity is the thing that will distinguish why this organisation will succeed. It's the diversity that has the checks and balances that safeguards against groupthink, complacency, the type of things that, of course, we've seen in the financial sector for the last 10 years that have brought companies down.
Tell you what, Catherine, in 12 months' time, let's come back together again and see whether these things we've been talking about work out in practice.
Absolutely.
Thank you.